Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins as Michael strides out of the courthouse, besieged by a relentless press. The weight of a lost libel case against the notorious businessman, villain, hangs heavy on his shoulders. Choosing silence in the face of probing questions, he defiantly walks past the media frenzy. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, Elizabeth, a seasoned private investigator, is summoned to her client's office. Having just completed an investigation into Michael, she faces inquiries about his character. Confidently, she assures her tycoon client that Michael seems unlikely to be involved in anything nefarious. Under the cloak of night, Elizabeth covertly infiltrates Villain's apartment, capturing images of his security system. This clandestine mission is a prelude to her plan to hack into it. Simultaneously, Michael's phone rings, and a voice introduces itself as the attorney representing the wealthy tycoon. The attorney conveys Tycoon's desire to meet Michael. Intrigued, Michael embarks on a journey to Sweden, where Tycoon resides in a grand mansion. There, Tycoon makes a proposition: investigate the decades-old disappearance of his granddaughter, Harriet. Tycoon suspects foul play within his own family but is unsure who is responsible. Adding a personal twist, the perpetrator insulted Tycoon by mimicking a gesture only Harriet performed, sending him flowers on his birthday. Tycoon offers Michael a deal. If he delves into Harriet's mysterious demise, Tycoon promises crucial information about Villain, substantiating Michael's prior allegations. The revelations would not only vindicate Michael but also expose Villain's guilt. Convinced by this unexpected turn of events, Michael reluctantly accepts the job. Elizabeth, equipped with a specially crafted device, returns to the Villain's lair. Swift and silent, she successfully attaches the device to the server box, slipping away unnoticed as her clandestine mission inches closer to its mysterious objective. Settling into the rustic cabin adjacent to Tycoon's estate, Michael acquaints himself with the intricate dynamics of Tycoon's troubled family. Tycoon paints a vivid picture of relatives ranging from Nazi uncles and inebriated cousins to abusive in-laws, each potentially harboring secrets. Undeterred by the passage of time, Michael diligently visits the police officer who handled Harriet's disappearance 4 decades ago. Unfortunately, the officer offers no breakthrough clues. Inquiring about cryptic numbers and initials in Harriet's diary, Michael is dismissed with the revelation that they are inconsequential telephone numbers. Simultaneously, Elizabeth faces upheaval in her personal life when her state-appointed guardian suffers a stroke. A dubious replacement, a corpulent and unscrupulous man, assumes control. Accusing her of delinquency and drug use, he coerces Elizabeth into submission by threatening to curtail her freedom and confine her to state housing. Michael rendezvous with Harriet's brother, Martin, over dinner. Martin divulges the impact of Harriet's disappearance on the family business and reveals its pivotal role in the family's history. On the darker side of the narrative, Elizabeth experiences a traumatic incident at the hands of her repugnant guardian. After retrieving her bag, which had been snatched at the train station, she discovers her broken laptop. Seeking reimbursement, she is subjected to a horrific encounter that leaves her nauseated and violated. Despite this, she manages to secure the funds but is haunted by the disturbing incident. Continuing his quest, Michael travels to London to interview Harriet's cousin. Unveiling a troubled past, the cousin attributes Harriet's unhappiness to familial dysfunction and parental issues. Meanwhile, Elizabeth, grappling with her traumatic encounter, reluctantly contacts her guardian for money. Instead of financial assistance, she is invited to his house, setting the stage for a disturbing confrontation where her every move is clandestinely recorded. The parallel narratives intertwine, revealing a complex tapestry of mystery, trauma, and the dark underbelly of the characters' lives. In an unexpected and chilling turn of events, she finds herself in a horrifying situation. Handcuffs clasped onto her wrists, resistance met with a choking force that rendered her unconscious. When she regains awareness, she discovers herself bound to a bed, mouth gagged, and clothes forcibly torn away. The assailant, having discarded his own decency, subjects her to a violation she desperately fights against. Meanwhile, back in Michael's secluded cabin, he stumbles upon photos depicting a figure peering through a window. Intrigued, he investigates further, realizing an uncanny resemblance between the person in the photo and both Harriet and her cousin. The mystery deepens. Driven by a thirst for revenge, Elizabeth returns to her guardian's residence under the guise of needing money. Seizing the opportune moment, she incapacitates him with a taser, dragging his unconscious body to the bedroom. In a harrowing confrontation, she reveals a recorded video, extracting a promise of financial autonomy. As a macabre form of justice, she enacts a disturbing retribution, leaving an indelible mark on her tormentor. Michael sifts through photos from an event predating Harriet's disappearance. A peculiar moment catches his eye, Harriet reacting to someone across the street before abruptly leaving. The next morning, a cryptic revelation occurs when his daughter points out Bible verses on his desk, matching the initials and numbers from Harriet's diary. As Michael delves into the biblical references, he contacts the police, uncovering another missing girl with a fate eerily aligned with the verses. An ambulance speeds away from Tycoon's house, revealing an accident. Seeing this as a potential lead, Michael enlists Elizabeth as his assistant. Armed with her hacking skills, Elizabeth infiltrates the police database, revealing a pattern in the circumstances surrounding the murders. Harriet, it seems, was investigating a serial killer with a sinister connection. All victims shared names from the Bible and were Jewish, hinting at the involvement of one of Tycoon's Nazi relatives in these heinous crimes. In the wake of a disturbing discovery, they find a life-threatening message just outside their door, an unfortunate feline mutilated and contorted into the shape of a swastika. It becomes apparent that this gruesome display is both a threat and a chilling warning. Meanwhile, Michael, drawn to an old house in the woods, becomes the target of an unseen sniper. A close call leaves him with only a grazing bullet, prompting a hasty retreat back to the cabin. Inside, Elizabeth, focused on setting up security cameras, tends to his wounds. In an unexpected turn, the atmosphere shifts as they engage in an intense and provocative encounter. The subsequent day unfolds with Elizabeth delving into the company's archives, while Michael seeks out Harriet's old relatives for additional photos. As Elizabeth sifts through records, suspicions begin to swirl around Harriet's father as a potential murderer. However, confusion arises when the murders persist even after his demise. The investigation leads Elizabeth to a shocking revelation. Martin, adorned in a jacket matching the primary suspects, is the hidden link behind the ongoing killings. As Michael's own suspicions converge on Martin, he takes matters into his own hands. Breaking into Martin's vacant house under the cover of night, Michael arms himself with a knife for protection. Amidst the discovery of a chilling rifle collection, he is caught off guard by the sound of a car pulling into the driveway. Attempting to exit discreetly, Michael is spotted by Martin, who invites him inside for an uneasy conversation. Their dialogue takes a dark turn when Martin reveals a gun and guides Michael to a concealed room. Overwhelmed, Michael succumbs to gas, waking up suspended from the ceiling with bound hands. Martin, recording the sinister proceedings, expresses deep-seated hatred towards immigrants. In a tense exchange, Michael confronts Martin about Harriet's murder, questioning the motive behind targeting someone who wasn't an immigrant. Martin's anger erupts, culminating in a terrifying struggle for survival as he attempts to suffocate Michael with a plastic bag. Martin informs him that their father used to sexually assault both him and Harriet as he suffocated. Elizabeth enters just as he is about to slash Michael with his knife and smacks him in the head with a golf club. She releases Michael and cares for him, but Martin escapes and drives away. Elizabeth discovers a pistol in the room and pursues him on her motorcycle. Elizabeth eventually manages to pass Martin, leading him to lose control of the vehicle. He collides, and the automobile flips on its side. Elizabeth approaches the vehicle with a rifle in her hand. Martin is trapped inside the car and unable to escape. She is approaching him. As the car erupts into flames, Martin meets a fiery demise, his body consumed by the inferno. The police discover the charred wreckage the following morning, marking the end of Martin's sinister reign. Back in the cabin, Michael awakens to find Elizabeth lying beside him. In the sobering aftermath, they engage in a candid conversation. Elizabeth reveals a dark chapter from her past, recounting how, at the tender age of 12, she attempted to burn her father alive in a desperate act. In the wake of Martin's demise, Michael confides in Elizabeth about his suspicions regarding Harriet's murder. Convinced that Martin was not the perpetrator and Harriet's father couldn't have committed the crime, they entertain the possibility that Harriet might still be alive. United by a shared resolve, they decide to return to London and seek answers from Harriet's cousin, hoping she may hold the key to Harriet's mysterious disappearance. Setting up surveillance in a van outside the cousin's apartment, they wait for her return. Michael visits her, delivering the news of Harriet's brother's death, but she remains indifferent and swiftly dismisses him. Undeterred, they intensify their monitoring efforts, scrutinizing her calls and online activities. However, their surveillance yields no valuable information. Returning to their hotel, frustration mounts, leading to an unexpected and intense encounter. In the aftermath, as they lie in bed, Elizabeth declares Harriet's death. Michael, however, remains skeptical, proposing another possibility that lingers in the shadows of doubt. The next day, Michael makes his way to the cousin's office, showcasing the wounds inflicted by Martin during their harrowing encounter. In a revealing slip, he accidentally calls her Harriet. To Michael's astonishment, it turns out the cousin was Harriet all along, successfully masquerading under her cousin's identity. Harriet shares the elaborate scheme she devised, using her cousin's passport to escape suspicion, travel to London, and deceive her family into believing she had perished. In a vulnerable moment, Michael presents a photo and inquires if Harriet is the person depicted. Harriet bravely discloses the harrowing truth of her past, her father's repeated sexual assault and Martin's subsequent abuse. She recounts the night her father, in a drunken rage, attempted to kill her. In self-defense, she struck him with a paddle, causing him to drown in the lake. Unfortunately, Martin witnessed the incident, leading to further torment and exploitation. Harriet reveals that her cousin offered her a chance to escape, smuggling her out of the country. Michael reassures her of her safety now that both Martin and her father are no more. The following day, Michael and Elizabeth return to Tycoon's mansion, exchanging information on Villain for assistance in investigating Harriet's disappearance. Tycoon is overwhelmed with emotion when he sees Harriet, leading to a heartfelt reunion after 4 decades. However, Michael's frustration mounts as he discovers the information Tycoon provided is outdated. Tossing the documents into the fire, he vents his anger. Elizabeth, revealing her past investigation into Villain, offers crucial information. Michael learns of Villain's involvement in money laundering, dealing with weapons, drugs, and Russian syndicates, along with hiding funds in offshore accounts. When Michael publishes the exposé, Villain faces investigation for his crimes. Simultaneously, Elizabeth, borrowing money from Michael, undergoes a transformation. Securing a fake passport, she leaves the country, hacking into Villain's foreign bank accounts and stealing his ill-gotten gains. News surfaces that a villain has left the country, only to be found dead a few days later. Elizabeth returns home, shedding her disguise, and plans to repay Michael. She buys him a leather jacket for Christmas but ultimately discards it upon seeing him with another woman the next day, highlighting the complex and unpredictable nature of their intertwined lives. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.